Nice of you to drop in.
Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 5 favorite Batman fights of all time. Now the only limitation I put on myself was this is Batman versus villains, not Batman versus heroes. So that's the only limitation for these fights. Also, I have not read every single Batman comic ever published, so there might be something missing. And this is my opinion. So let's get into it with number 5, which is Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul in Hush, in the Hush storyline. Now, I'm going to be spoiling a bunch of storylines in this countdown, so yeah. Anyways, back to number 5. Now, Ra's al Ghul versus Batman in this fight, so they've fought a ton of times over the years, and some people may disagree with me saying this is the best one, but the reason I chose it is because this is a distraught Batman. Batman has so many emotions going through him in Hush. What's going on is Catwoman is becoming a serious love interest for Batman. They don't just have a fling, they have a serious thing going on. Batman's he tells her secret identity in the book, and his friend Tommy Elliot is back, and he has a friend now. He's Bruce Wayne sort of has a life right now, and it's weird for him. And then out of the blue, Tommy Elliot just gets killed. And he doesn't know who did it. He thought the Joker did it first, and now he thinks Ra's did it. So he goes after Ra's, and he says it in the book when he's fighting Ra's. He says this is not a game. He's not toying around with Ra's. He makes Ra's look like a second-level villain. He just goes and runs him through with a sword. Literally, they're fighting. He cuts him above his eyes, and then runs him through. It is a very quick fight, but it was really good. I love seeing a Batman like this, an actual Batman, a man. Not a lot of writers have the mistake of just making Batman this machine and not a person. This Batman had feelings and was actually affected by things that went on. So him fighting Ra's, he had tunnel vision. He didn't care. He was going to get the answers he wanted, and the emotions in this fight were great. That's to me what made it the best Ra's al Ghul versus Batman fight. Number 4 is Batman vs. Bane in the Batman Legacy storyline. Now, Nightfall is a fantastic moment, but it's not a fight. Batman just gets completely torn up and just gets destroyed by Bane. It's a great moment, but it is not a fight. That's why it's not on this list, and that's why this fight is, because this is an actual fight, and the fight takes place for the majority of the issue. It's a really good issue, and the fight is great. But the thing that's really cool is Bane is crazy in this issue. He is crazy. It wasn't Batman. He is really bonkers in this issue. When he's fighting Batman, he's just talking about how he's a god, and Batman and Ra's al Ghul are the only two people he's ever considered as equals, and he is really nuts. Because in Nightfall, he's very calculated. He still wasn't exactly, Mr. Sane, but he was very calculated, methodical about everything. And this, he's really crazy. He gets in a fight with Batman, beats the living tar out of him, and then he's drowning Batman, because Batman said he's not a god, he's barely a man, so that made him a little upset. So he's drowning Batman. Then Batman has a flashback of his parents. He's like, that's the last night I felt fear. This guy, Bane, is not going to put fear into me anymore, even though really the last night he felt fear was Nightfall. He was really afraid Nightfall. Anyways, he's drowning him, and so Batman has that whole flashback, comes up, and just beats the crap out of Bane. And it was cool because that hadn't been played out a million times over. Now, you've had that a million times, to where it's oh, Batman had a flashback to his parents. Oh, now he's stronger. When this comic came out, it hadn't been done a million times. It wasn't exactly original, but it wasn't as played out as it is now. And the fight was really cool, and like I said, it lasted for the majority of the issue. Number 3 is Batman vs. Lincoln Mark. Now, Lincoln Mark, or March, however you pronounce it, is claiming to be Batman's brother. He's claiming to be Bruce's brother. He's claiming to be Thomas Wayne Jr. in this fight, and that's really what drives it home. There's a ton of dialogue during this fight, and it's great. Scott Snyder is a fantastic writer, and Greg Capullo's art is just amazing. This fight is so great because Lincoln Mark has been set up as this guy that's, a great friend of Bruce Wayne. He really looked like Bruce Wayne, too, from the first moment I saw him. And this fight takes place in the City of Owls, which is the follow-up to the Court of Owls. It pretty much just ties up all the loose ends in Court of Owls. And it's really good. If you've read Court of Owls, you have to read the City of Owls because it ties everything up. And it's great. The fight is amazing. What happens is he goes and he lures Batman to this children's hospital called like Willowwood, and Willowwood was a place for mentally, different children that were pretty much insane. And so what he did was he lured Batman there, and he tells him, "Hey, I'm Thomas Wayne Jr. Remember that pin that your mother always wore? Well, that was a pin that only mothers of children at Willowwood got," which he's correct by that. And he also had other proof of things, like the fact that she would always visit Willowwood. So it's this whole thing of, is he really Bruce's brother? And Bruce is wondering the same exact thing as the reader, thinking, is this guy my brother? And the whole time he has to suppress it, like, no, he's not my brother, he's not my brother, he's not my brother. It's just not possible, he's not my brother. He's just wondering that the whole time. And it's a really great fight. The dialogue is great, and the fight takes place like everywhere. He's got this super-powered suit, and he drags Batman through buildings up to a plane, like the turbine of a plane. It's really intense, and the fight is just great. It was very close between this and number 2. It was a great fight, definitely the best Batman fight of the New 52. It's so good. I really enjoyed it. And also, Owlman is behind a lot of stuff that happened with the Court of Owls, because he was a part of the Court of Owls. Then he kills everyone that's a part of the Court of Owls. And he's just a bad dude and an awesome villain. And it leaves you with, is he alive or is he not? Because, like, this building explodes. And is he Batman's brother or not? Bruce just says no, he's not. But it's like, they leave it up to the reader, and I love that. It's great. Number 2 is Batman vs. KG Beast in 10 Nights of the Beast storyline, and this is the final fight between them in this storyline, and it's really good. It's two masters fighting each other, which is so cool. The whole time Batman's just narrating the fight, and it's so good. And the beginning's a little wacky how it starts out. Here, I'll read you a little passage. This is what Batman sends a flying dead man at KG Beast to distract him. He says, "The flying dead man maneuver buys me a half a second." Yep. It's pretty funny, but it only goes uphill from there. It's so good. It's two masters fighting each other. Literally, like, Batman, like, takes out his eye, and then he slashes Batman's chest, and it's just, one guy punches him in the face, the other guy punches him in the stomach. It's that sort of fight, like, just two masters. As soon as someone gets a hit, the other guy gets a hit right back. It's such a good fight. And then it ends very differently than you would expect. I'll read you what Batman says at the end. Well, first, what happens is Batman is fighting KG Beast. KG Beast decides to leave because he wants to try to get an advantage on Batman, like get an ambush on Batman. And so Batman ends up chasing him into this room, and it's a dead-end room. There's only one way out, and that's the way he entered. Well, this is what Batman says to him, because KG Beast's like, "Come, fight me. Let's find out who's the best at the game of life and death." And Batman says, "A few years ago, I would have jumped at this chance to test myself against you, but time has taught me many valuable lessons. There's no reason for me to risk my life coming in there after you. It would neither accomplish nor prove anything worthwhile." And then just locks him in there. And he says in his head, "Sometimes you have to ignore the rules. Sometimes circumstances are such that the rules pervert justice. I'm not in this business to protect the rules. I serve justice." And it shows KG Beast just banging on the door while Batman's locking it with a ton of wooden, like, pegs up against the door to make sure he can't get out. And in the end, this guy asks him, "Hey, what about the Beast?" And Batman says, "You needn't worry about him anymore." And the guy's just, like, shocked that Batman did this. Now, later on, it's revealed Batman called the cops to let KGB oust and arrest him. That was just bull crap to protect Batman's image. The writer fully intended for Batman to have this guy killed, to have this guy dead in that room. And that's what I think really made this fight interesting. It also shedded more light to me on the Batman-Joker relationship, because it shows you that this guy's so deadly, Batman's like, this guy can't stay alive anymore. Joker is deadly to other people, but not to Batman. So Batman, I think, is just like, well, I can always stop Joker, but this guy might beat me. Joker, he'll kill a ton of people, but I'll stop him eventually. KG Beast, he doesn't know if he'll be able to stop, so killing him's like really the only answer. And I thought that was a really cool aspect. At least that's the way I interpreted it. And it was a great fight. Like I said, two masters fighting each other. Number 1 is Batman vs. Red Hood in the Batman Under the Red Hood storyline. This is issue 641, not the final battle, because the final battle was good, but not as good as this one. The art wasn't as good, and I didn't get the same effect as this one. This is the fight where he finds out that Jason is the Red Hood. Also, some people may be thinking, well, you said you weren't going to do Batman vs. Hero fights. In this storyline, Jason Todd was not a hero. He wasn't an anti-hero. He was a full-on bad guy. He was not a good guy in this book, even though he did have some good intentions. Now, this fight is just epic in every sense of the word. Batman and Red Hood are just beating on each other the whole time. Batman in the back of his head, as we've seen before, he's just thinking, is this Jason? Not during this fight, like, do we hear him say, is this Jason? But prior, he had been thinking this guy may be Jason, but it's sort of like earlier when he was fighting his supposed brother. He's thinking, this can't be Jason, this isn't Jason, because he already fought a fake Jason Todd in the Hush storyline when Clayface pretended to be Jason Todd, and so he's just like, I'm not going to fall for it again. While they're fighting, the mask comes off, and he's like, it's me. He has the whole Jason persona. Batman does not want to believe it, and then he gives him a fingerprint sample. He cuts himself, so he gives him a DNA sample. He's like, go test it out, it's me. And Batman says, even if I test it out, I'm not going to believe it. And he says, yes, you will. You're a man of science. You're going to believe whatever it says. And he's right, and this is such an emotional fight between Batman and his long-dead son, and it's a really great fight. Not just the emotions, but the fight itself. The art's good, and Judd Winnick really knows how to do a fight, and that's why it's number 1 to me. It's a great fight. Now, let me know in the comments below what are your guys' top 5 favorite Batman fights of all time. And next time, I think I'll do Wolverine, top 5 Wolverine fights. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.